what's up YouTube? This is DeFi Ant here, coming to you all the way from sunny England. Here's a little bit about me before we get started. I've been fucking around in crypto since early 2021. Yes, that's right, I was part of your bull run exit liquidity. But I very quickly found myself getting off exchanges and onto blockchains thanks to a few Telegram groups like Bartertown Conglomerate, Savage Fitness Crypto and a few others. To be perfectly honest, if it wasn't for this, I probably would have just held a bag of Harmony One all the way to oblivion and walked away saying crypto's just a Ponzi scheme. Luckily for me, that wasn't the case, and I've found myself actually making pretty decent money and having a decent time while I'm doing it. I've been meaning to make videos on my DeFi journey and the projects that I'm interested in for quite a while. To be honest, the last few months have been so full of scams, rug pulls, pump and dumps. I didn't really see the point until I saw something that really took my interest. That's changed. A week ago, my boy Paris and DeFi Proof, they've launched an absolute banger of a tomb fork called Droplit. And let me tell you, it has been a fucking printer. I'll get into that in a second, but let's take a quick look at the markets first of all. As you can see, things actually aren't looking that bad. We've got Bitcoin on a hell of a run, currently up at 23,450, ETH over 1,600 again. Some absolute shockers. So we've got Aptos here currently 50% up in the last 24 hours, sitting at $18.16. Not massively sure what the hype's about, if I'm honest. It kind of feels like it's a VC pump token at the minute. Not a lot going on the chain, but you know what? It seems to be finding price discovery. So don't try and short it just yet if you're a trader. Looking at where Bitcoin's currently at the moment, obviously we've been in a slump ever since the FTX debacle. But I mean, you zoom out a little bit on the last on the daily chart, it's looking pretty good. We've been hitting some levels. We're back above where we were prior to the FTX collapse. Currently 23,429. I'm hearing from a lot of the TA people that I'm close to and follow. They're sort of around that 24,200 regions, a pretty key level for us to take and flip if we're going to keep being bullish. I thought we'd see a little bit more of a pullback, if I'm honest. Coming up from 23, obviously people are too keen on trying to short the top and getting themselves liquidated. So having a nice little run. Interesting to see where it goes from here. But one thing is for sure, it's pretty nice to see some volatility back in the markets. Anyway, that's enough of that. No one wants to hear a commentary on the markets from a novice trader. So I'm going to talk through Droplit, what it is, my position in it, my experience so far, and give you some of the links if you want to check that out for yourself. Before I do that, though, I just want to make this crystal clear. I am not a financial advisor. That feels really weird saying it myself. But let me say it one more time. I am not a financial advisor. So most of this DeFi stuff I'm going to talk about and I get into carries a lot of risk, requires research, experience, and even then nothing is going to guarantee you making gains. One thing you've got to get used to in crypto is taking responsibility for your own decisions. So let's get into it.
Send me the drop, cause I'm lit. What a fucking lit reward. Who got the drop, cause it's lit. Throw the shares and let it fall. I got the drop, now I'm lit. Get that drip and let it burn. Drop it. Send me the drop.
Okay, so here it is. This is Droplit. So first of all, website droplit.money. So go over there, check it out, have a look at the details for yourself. I'll just quickly talk for a brief bit about the project. I'm not going to read you the whole bloody white paper. But just if you're unfamiliar, Droplit, so lit being the main token, is a fork of tomb.finance. So Tomb, if you don't know what it is, learn your history. Go check some stuff out about it. But essentially, what Tomb is and what Droplit is an algorithmic stablecoin platform. So unlike other stablecoins, they rely on external sources. You have collateral, PaxG for buzzed, that sort of stuff. Lit uses an algorithm to maintain its peg to the dollar. So designed to ensure the value of Lit remains stable. What it also does is provide some ongoing help to support the drip network. So if you don't know what drip is, I will do a separate video on that. It's something I've been in for quite some time. In the meantime, if you want to learn more, Bartertown's got plenty of videos on it, a short guide to what it is, really useful video to find out a little bit more. In terms of Droplit, how that stuff works, so it did have a pre-sale. It was a pretty small pre-sale, to be fair. Max bag was $300 per person. That was all allocated and given out over the first, I think it started on the third epoch, and it took 5 epochs to get that out, so epoch being 6 hours. So that's all happened. Everyone's had their bags for the last few days. That was a nice little bonus getting into that pre-sale. Some of the features that Droplit's got that go along with it, they have also got a built-in arbitrage bot. So I know the developer of this one. His name is Paris. DeFi Proof likes to call him Pressure P, and I know he loves that. Paris, great dev. What he's done as well is put a bot together. So what that does is it scans the market for arbitrage opportunities between the native tokens of the platform. I'll touch on what those tokens are in a minute, but essentially each of those has a liquidity pair. So they're paired to BNB and paired to BUSD. What the arbitrage bot does to help keep the supply of lit stable, but also, to give some ammunition to the team to be able to help, maintain peg, keep things going. What that does is it constantly buys and sells lit to maintain its peg to the US dollar, but also to sort of maintain the price differential between those two liquidity pools. Another really cool feature that they've got going on there. Droplit itself is essentially, the tokens are lit. So that's a Droplit token, currently $4.37. That is, eventually going to be pegged to $1. So right now it's looking real tasty up at $4.37. Might not always be that way, but it should theoretically long term be pegged to $1. There's also the share token, so golden drip shares. The share token itself, you can print that using lit pairs in the farms, which I'll show you in a second. Essentially, with that, you can either stake that to get yourself more lit, or you can sell that, take a bit of profit, reinvest that back in, take a little bit for yourself. You always got to make sure you take cash off the table there. Those are the tokens that are in there. So, as all tomb forks do, it started with a genesis period. So that's a period to sort of bootstrap the liquidity for the platform. They have a number of pools, mainly native pools. These guys also had a BNB and a buzzed pair as well, which effectively you can farm the lit token before it launched, which you could then either sell if that's what you want to do, or you can pair that up and continue to do that in the farms. I went into the genesis on this one. It was pretty decent. I like to be pretty low risk in genesis, so I just did the BNB and BUSD pair. Still made me decent money, so I made my deposit fee back plus another few percent on top of that, which I basically compounded into the platform. So I only went in with profits afterwards. I think I've started off with sort of $500-600 of profit there, which I've used to pair up and farm the tokens. So I'll head over to the staking section just to sort of show you what these pools are at the moment. Currently, there's 4 main pools. These all pay you out golden drip shares, so GDS token. So there's GDS paired with BUSD or with lit. There's lit paired with BNB or BUSD. Personally, I started off going into the GDS and BUSD and the lit GDS pools. When tomb forks first start, APRs tend to be absolutely nuts. I mean, I know they look pretty silly now, but they were bonkers high. So with that few hundred that I made from the Genesis, I went into the real degen pairs, managed to farm up a pretty decent bag, and then went into what I see as a slightly lower risk pool, which is the lit WBNB. Pulled out when the pre-sale tokens started coming and when the boardroom started printing lit. Mainly because I've seen tomb forks before where it sort of all goes to pot and the token absolutely bombs. Didn't happen here. I mean, it has gone down as low as sort of $1.60, but it's rebounded up really, really nicely since then. So the pool I'm currently in, that's lit BNB. Currently got a nice little bag there. I've sort of compounded quite a lot of my earnings back in. Took a bit of profit out as well. Currently making 15% a day. Price itself's absolutely rocketed today, so it's looking real, real nice. What I'll tend to do with that is I'll take a little bit off the table, so I'll get GDS that I'm farming from this pool, take a bit out, put it into BNB or BUSD, and then the other portion, typically here I've been buying more lit with that and pairing it with my BNB to increase my position. This for me at this point is all risk capital, so this is all profit I've made through the platform. So I'm going to keep compounding that for a little bit. I mean, whilst the APRs are 15 and the tokens above $4, it kind of feels like a no-brainer personally for me. It can change very quickly though. These tokens can go down as well as up. Sounds like a pretty stupid thing to say, but it's true. What you can also do with the GDS that you print out of these farms, you can stick that in the boardroom. What the boardroom basically does is you can stake your shares. That will pay you out in lit. It will give you that in a minute. APR on that one's 5.84%. It will only pay out in the boardroom as long as the lit token is above peg. So remember, peg's $1, currently $4.31. So that's above peg at the moment. So that will pay you out that. If lit goes under it, it won't pay out because it doesn't want to increase the sale pressure on the lit token. But it's looking real good. I mean, 44% of the GDS supply is staked. That's really nice. That kind of, hopefully means we're not going to see this dump quite as quick. But liquidity is not as huge on the on the GDS. But that's it at the moment. I mean, currently looking at the balance I've got in staking in that pool, printing about $340 a day, as long as we're maintaining that rate. So really happy with that. Going to keep compounding that back in a little bit. But yeah, that's Droplit really. Another nice feature they've got is that it is got a core design built into it, so it's going to burn the supply of drip. So as I say, drip has a massive community behind it. I mean, just look at the TVL on this one, right? 1.15 million. That's massive. That's really, really good going. Part of that is you've got the drip community are really taking to this project and backing it. And that's mainly because DeFi Proof is a good name in the drip community, really solid guy. Developer here is Docs. They've had video AMAs and all sorts. He's a great guy. I've known Paris for a really long time. But also, it's got mechanisms to help burn drip tokens, so it's helping that community, and they're really getting behind it, which is great. If you want to see how much drip they've burned, you just go to the burner tab on the site. So in the useful links, just have a little look, see what that is. So yeah, you can see there they've burned about 16,000 drip tokens. So at the current price, that's about $8,000. So that's really good to see, and you can see why the community's taking to it. So that's about it for Droplit, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll throw some links in the description so you can find out a bit more about what I've covered here. And if you want to come join me and my community, I've got a Telegram group set up. The more the merrier. So stay safe out there, ants.